Namaste. Welcome to my heart. Welcome to our Sunday meditation. It is my joy that we are together. Let us begin our time with some interning. If you will, focus your attention here at the Sun Center or at the altar, please. O Great Spirit, saints and sages of all times, of all places, O ye powers that be, most beloved ancestors of our bloodlines, ancestors of our spiritual lines, ancestors of our friendship lines, all ye beings of the air, the earth, the fire, the water, the ether, most beloved Ishtadevata, most beloved Lord Divine, in all of thy names and all of thy forms. Namaste. O infinite Lord of stillness, come bless us with thy presence. Fill every cell of our being with thy presence. Sweep clear our paths, that we might hear that which needs to be heard and see that which needs to be seen. And focusing your attention at the Sun Center, the Ajna Chakra, the point between the eyes. Turn your head to the left using the resurrection breath. Exhale all of the old in a double exhalation and bring the head back to the center and begin to watch the breath. Just inhaling slowly and exhaling slowly. Become one with your breath. And now let that go and just rest for a moment in the sweetness of the after effect. Namaste. Once upon a yogi time, there was a little girl. Her name was Leela. Leela lived in a small town, and she had a little brother. He was just approaching 2 years old. Leela's brother was named Johann. Leela and Johann. Leela went out and played with her friends every day, and they would talk about yoga. They liked yoga, so they'd make all these great poses. They'd do the lion pose and the big roars. And they could become trees and stand so tall and erect with their hands up, their head straight, their trunk in a line. One day they go to school, all of them go to school, and their teacher says, you know, your mom and your dad, they are all teaching you every day the greatest yoga asana. Leela starts to get very worried. My mom and dad are not teaching me the greatest yoga asana. They taught me how to do the lion's pose. They taught me how to do the cat's pose. They taught me how to do the child's pose. They taught me how to do the tree pose, but they never taught me the greatest of all the yoga asanas. How is this possible? All day she's worried. All day she's worried. Doesn't want to ask because she doesn't want to embarrass herself. Everybody else's parents seem to be teaching them this great asana. Kind of drags herself home, and oh, how is she going to ask? And what if her parents don't know this? And oh my goodness, this really is catastrophe. There's this great thing that mom and dad are supposed to be teaching her every day, and they haven't done it. How could they fail her like that? She walks in the door, very dejected, very dejected. Hi, Leela. Hello, sweetheart. How are you? How are you doing today? All right. How was school today? All right. How are you, Mom? Why, I'm so happy to see you. We had a good day today, Johann and I. Yeah, I bet you did. Now, Leela, that's not the way to speak to your mother. What's wrong? Well, I bet you were busy teaching Johann the greatest of all yoga asanas, and you've never taught me, and I'm 6, and everybody else knows it, but I don't know it. Really? Okay. Well, I'm going to ask you all to do what Leela's mother asked her to do. She said, all right, Leela, sit down very nicely. Sit in the chair. Close your eyes, Leela. Now, take your right foot and lift it up. She lifts it up. Now put it down. Now take your left foot and lift it up. Now put it down. Now lean over, Leela, and stand up. Oh, stand. Stand, 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 Leela. Well, what's that, Mom? That is the greatest yoga asana. And today your brother Johann began. For the first time, he stood with a little help on both of his feet. And he lifted himself up. And you, Why, every day now, you can stand on your own 2 feet. But you're not quite there yet. We still have more and more and more to teach you about the greatest of yoga asanas. Oh, so you mean it's just learning to stand on my own 2 feet? Why, I can do that. Mama says, not quite yet, you can't. It looks like you can, but we still have more and more and more to share with you about that great magical asana. And it begins, the lesson begins today, Leila. For today, you are going to sit down and learn to meditate. And so it is. Mom and Leila sit down, and they do the very first thing that we did. They turn inward. They put the attention here at the sun center, and they close the eyes. And they learn the resurrection breath, turning the head to the left, letting go of all of the old. And bringing the head back to the center and allowing the breath, the new life, to enter in. And focusing at the sun center. Oh, how sweet it is. How sweet it is to turn inward. How sweet it is to let go of that which is old, to let go of that which is confining, to let go of that which is hurtful, and to turn inward, to simply turn inward. Be one with the quiet, to turn in with the quiet. And so as Leila and her mother had to practice, so do we. As Leila learned to stand, Leela learned to stand on her own 2 feet. As Johan stood for the first time with help, so we have to. Now, you say, well, what's this great yogasana? We could all stand and walk. It's very difficult. It is very difficult. For the tendency is to look elsewhere. What do you think I should do? What do you think is best? The mind, the nature of the mind is like a monkey. You've heard me say this before. You've heard it before. The nature of the mind is like an untamed monkey in a cage. Somebody pricks him with a pin, and he does St. Vitus dance. The mind is all over, shaking, wavering and wavering and wavering. And so what we need to do is bring the mind back to stillness. The breath is your greatest tool. The breath is your greatest tool for watching the breath, paying attention to the breath, allows you the greatest tool. It allows you to calm the mind. Now, I know you're going to say to me, yes, that's fine for you to say, but I watch the breath and my mind goes like a monkey anyway. It's all right. We bring it back again. The mind goes, bring it back again. The mind goes, bring it back again. The mind goes, okay, fine. Don't be concerned. We've got a lot of tools in Kriya Yoga. I remember saying to my guru one day, boy, you've given me so many practices to do, Kriyananda. This is a lot. And he said, yes, it is. You have a very emotional mind. We need to keep it very busy so that it becomes calm. I said, good thinking, good thinking. But what does it mean to stand on your own 2 feet? It means that you really, your life should be of greatest interest to you. Not your children's life, not your husband's life, not your friend's life, not your lover's life, not your student's life. Your life should be of great interest to you. how you live, what you do. It should be of great interest to you. How your inner life is should be of great interest. Are you happy? Are you content? Do you feel that you have the skills that you need, that you have strengthened and lifted, created the skills that you need in order to live your life as happily as you would like to live it? That's a question for you. Now, we are souls, memory tracks, if you will, linked to the spirit, our eternal divine self, that which is one with all of life. But we are walking through kala, walking through time. And as we walk through time, everything changes. And this becomes sometimes a great challenge. Requires additional work, additional sadhana, additional effort, if you will. Or you can be walking along and the day is all beautiful and sunny and you're feeling great. And then the clouds come, a storm comes in. We have, 12 inches of snow dumped, or, 10 inches of rain, and this is all metaphorically, right? It can be literally happening, but it also can be symbolically, so that it's happening within you, that you are feeling like you're surrounded by a tsunami internally. Now, today in the world, it seems like there are two very serious tsunamis that occur, if you will. And one of them is anxiety. And this is a state of consciousness in which the person is worried or concerned about something, but they don't really know what they're worried or concerned about. And so the worry and concern just continues to noodle and noodle and noodle and grow and grow and grow within them. And the other, which seems to accompany that quite closely, quite intricately combined, is depression. Now, both of these may have physiological basis, and we should always look at that. Am I eating food that's making me anxious? Am I watching things on television that are making me anxious? Am I reading something that's making me anxious? Am I reading or listening to something that's making my spirit sad? That's making my mind sad? And what do I do? What do I do? Well, only you can look at how you're spending your life. Yes, well, gosh, I was watching that movie, and that movie really was very sad to me. So why did you watch the movie? Oh, I was on social media and so said such and such, and it really upset my spirit. So why did you read it? Why did you go there? Why did you act in a way that fed the upset, that fed the distress in your system? For you are not a child. Your mind sometimes, like my mind, will act sometimes quite childishly, but you're not a child. You have learned in many, many, many ways to stand on your own 2 feet. But there's always, always, always more that we can learn. Now, standing on our own 2 feet happens at many levels. It happens at the physical level, physically being able to do this. And it really means, can you take care of yourself physically? Do you have the capacity? Have you worked to gain the skills that you need to take care of yourself? But this is not done alone, my beloved, for you are not alone in the world. You are not by yourself. You are a part of life. You are a part of this, all of this, a part of life. And so if you have not yet gained all the skills to take care of yourself, then you need to turn inward, reflect perhaps, and say, oh, what else do I need to know? What do I need to know? A young woman came to me not very long ago, and she had accumulated a lot of student loan debt, and it was burdening her, very, very much burdening her, because she had never really understood what it meant to borrow, I think it was $120,000, something like this, a lot of money, to go to school. And she had never really understood the implications in terms of her life afterwards. But more importantly, she didn't have the skills to manage it. She didn't know what to do to manage it. And I said, well, scratching my head a little bit, well, what do you think you should do? And she said, well, I've been searching on the internet. I've been looking at YouTube, and I found this fellow. I think I'm going to get his book. Good idea. What's the book about? Money management. Good idea. Paying down debt. Great idea. So I think this was maybe 12 or 15 months ago. And not long after that, just very, very recently, in the last few weeks, she came back to me and said, I've paid down. And she goes through, she's so proud of herself. I paid down this loan and this loan and this loan. They were the smallest loans, but I paid them down. Now they're not there. And boy, that feels good. In the total, it wasn't much, but boy, getting rid of each little one. And then she proceeds to tell me how she did it. Now, what did she do? She found a source of wisdom. She found someone who had the skills that she needed, and she studied, and she practiced, and she followed what needed to be done so that she could get where she was going. Unlike the man who came to Shelley G wanting to become wealthy. A man comes to Shelley and says, Shelley G, I would like a mantra. Please give me a mantra so that I can be rich. Okay. How much is rich? How much is rich? How much is wealthy to you? Well, $100 would be a wealthy person. Okay. Have you ever met a person who's wealthy? Monetarily wealthy? No. Have you read any books about monetary wealth? About money? No. Did you take any classes? No. Have you tried to find out any information about anyone who is, in your view, wealthy? No, I came to you. I want a mantra. I want a mantra to chant. All right, fine. I'll give you a mantra. Shaking his head, Shelley gives the mantra and he says, you're only wanting $100. It'd be a lot easier if you could figure out a way to go out and get a job and save that money so that you'd have the $100. A lot easier than it's going to be trying to bring that wealth in with chanting the mantra. Yeah, okay, well, thanks. Bye-bye. Now here's the mystical question, that's how Shelley reacted to it. Now the question is, will chanting the mantra help the man to see that he needs to do more than just chant the mantra? Will chanting the mantra shift his consciousness so that he can say, oh yes, maybe I should go pick up a book like that woman over there is, or maybe I see that man, maybe he'll give me some information, or maybe I should go to the school and get a class, or maybe there's something free that I could learn. that I could go get that information from. The Kriya practices are not just about sitting and visualizing and expecting it's going to come to you. It's really the mantra practice, the meditation practice, the visualization practice, the forgiveness practice. It's about shifting your awareness, shifting your state of consciousness, attuning to something that is far greater than you are, attuning to that which you are trying to achieve, and allowing life to bring to you that which you need, that which you're seeking, that which you're desiring to bring into your life. So this great asana happens on the physical level. Now, it also happens on the mental level. The great yoga asana happens on the mental level. Wow. Now here's the rub. This is really the tough one, because everything begins and ends. Begins here, begins with our thoughts, and they precipitate from the subtler realms. They precipitate downward from the causal plane to the mental plane, to the verbal plane, to the physical realm. What this says is that you must, to stand on your own 2 feet, you must know and learn the nature of your mind. You must know and learn how your mind operates. It operates very much like other minds, but it's also quite unique because your mind has the imprints of your history. The mind has the imprints of your history, the history of your bloodline, the history within your red blood cells, and your history in this life and in all of your other lives. It's alive and well and living within you. And that's different than the imprints of all of the others. It is not the same. Now, we all have a prism through which we see the world. That prism changes as you walk through kala, as you walk through time. If you are an astrologer, you'll know that it changes most when you look at the progressions of the planets, how the planets move from one spot to the other in the zodiac. It also is very affected by the outer transits, the major transits. But the progressions is a place for you to study. If you're not an astrologer, the answer is, or the key is that as you walk through time, you will find that your perspective of the world has shifted markedly from the time that you were very young, as you walk through your 20s and 30s, and as you walk through all of your life, the perspective shifts slightly. As it shifts, so it shifts. You change. As a perspective changes, you change. And you need to adjust and adapt to those changes so that only you really know what needs to be brought into order, what needs to be corrected within your mind at this time. And this is really why we talk about the greatest of all of the yoga asanas is to be able for you to see what is influencing and impacting your life at this moment and how you can change them. What allows you to make the changes? Meditation, 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 meditation. Learning to rely upon your inner wisdom. And then checking it and checking it and checking it. You meditate, you have a problem, you meditate. You get an answer, you reflect. Tarka. Does this feel right for my soul? You go back and meditate again. You don't know the answer. You use the ruins, you use astrology, you use the I Ching, you use the tarot. You use some other method to say, is this correct? You write, just write longhand. You take the question into your dreams and see what answer you get in your dreams. All these methods to verify, yes, this is it, this is the right path. Sometimes you may not like the answer, but if you see that the answer is consistent, you can say, well, what do I have to do? What do I need to do? If I want to change the trajectory of the path I'm on, what do I need to do? You see here, I haven't said to you once, go ask someone else what you should do. Now, it may be that you've said, well, I'd really like to go to France. Maybe I should check around and see who's been there and what they might tell me about it and how they got there and what they might tell me about that. But that impetus comes from you. You're saying, oh, this is the direction I would like to go. Now, how do I get there? Then I can seek assistance from others, not the imposition of their opinions, but their wisdom. Their wisdom, For what you can gain from others is their insight, their wisdom, if you are willing to accept it. But you need to have within yourself the steadiness, the assurance of what the right action is for you. And the way that you get that is when it occurs, when you see, yes, this is right for me. You quiet the mind. You see it very clearly. Now, there are times in life of great confusion when you can't see the two paths and you can't see the direction. Two paths and we can't see. Take it into the dream state. Again, check, journal, see what you write about it. Journaling, I'm saying again, checking the horoscope, throwing the ruins, looking at the I Ching, looking at the tarot, looking at some other system that will help you to see whether what you are aware of in your conscious mind is the highest and best good for you. Pray for an answer. But that's not a gimme, 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 gimme prayer. It's a may I see clearly, may I hear clearly, that I might know the wisest action to take. Now, this leads us to the yoga, the Kriya Yoga, and the Eastern tradition of karma, the philosophy of karma, the law of cause and effect, the law of life that says that which you feed, you bring into your life. That you and you alone create your life. So if you feed happiness, if you feed joy, if you feed wisdom, you will draw that into your life. If you feed seva, service to life, you will draw service, you will draw help for all the service without any question. The ways will be parted for you as you need it. And to quiet the mind and ask, quiet the mind and ask. Step number 2. Stop interfering with other people's lives. They don't ask your opinion, don't give it to them. They come and they want to complain, or they want to fetch, or they want to tell you something's wrong, but they don't ask you anything. They just want to tell you. Just listen. Listen with an open heart and say internally, Shanti, 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 and call upon the divine to help them with what they need. And if they should ask you for your opinion, the first question is always, well, what do you think you should do? What do you think the right thing is to do? And listen. Far more than we realize, people know what is right, but their mind is confused and afraid taking the risk. Do not be afraid. It's your life, Be like little Johann, you're a little boy, you're 2 years old, you're standing up on your own 2 feet for the first time, you're grabbing onto the chair or the table, and you fall on your butt. Turn around, crawl again, lift up again and again and again and again. And one of these times you'll be able to lift yourself up without the assistance of the chair or without the assistance of the table until you get to the end of your life. And then you need that assistance and you're ready to start your next incarnation. And so this whole deep and very powerful and very important concept of the greatest yoga asana is something that my Guruji really spent much time teaching. If you're walking through Kala, if you're walking through time, and you bump into someone and they irritate you, or you bump into someone that you used to like, and all of a sudden you feel like, oh, that person really, I don't like to be around them, or oh, they're so mean, or oh, they're so cold and cruel. First thing you have to say is, isn't that interesting? I really used to like that person. Now what happened? I wonder what the karma is that they are experiencing right now. Oh, I wonder if there's a Saturn upon their sun. I wonder if there's a Pluto upon their sun. I wonder if there's Mars. And I'm reacting to them. Guruji always said, no, you should never let another's aura be stronger than yours. Do not let the confinement of their karma affect you. And so if your mind begins to feel hatred or anger or emotionality of any sort, bring it back into balance. See, that's the trick. Oh, yes, I see. I see. I've got it. I'm thinking about them. I'm with them, and my mind becomes emotional. And when my mind becomes emotional, the mouth emotes. Blah, 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 blah. Perhaps not very nice things. And that sometimes leads to physical actions also. Calm it down. This you can do. Calm it down. You can do it. You have the capacity to do it. But it is vital that if you want the freedom to live your life freely, it's truly vital that you let others do the same. Now, you don't have to let them harm you at all. No harm. That should not be permitted. But let them be free. You know, they want to hit their head against the wall 15 times, and you can see that they're doing it and they're not sick and they don't need help. They don't need your interference. They should do it. You know, they want to get married, and you can see that every symbol in the book is bad, but they want to get married. Bless them. Bless them and let their experience be that which it needs to be for them. And so we will close our time this morning with a meditation. And let me say the most important thing that I just said to you is that the greatest thing that you can learn to do is to stand on your own 2 feet, to stay. Oh, I have all these skills, Oh, yes. Oh, this person is really irritating me. I need to forgive them. I need to do it. Me. Moi. Oh, yes, I am the one that has to do the forgiveness. And not my saying, oh, they should do it. They should do it. No, I have to take the action. I'm the one. Same as for you. You look in the mirror and that person you see is the one that has to take the action. And the greatest way we can free ourselves is to stop blaming others. Okay? When the mind has the thought of blaming others, you say, neti, neti, neti. I'm not this thought. I'm not the thought thinking this thought. I'm not thought. I don't have to become focused on them. I don't have to spend my day or my hours worrying or noodling or criticizing them. How about if I find something joyful to fill my life with instead? How about if I turn inward and meditate? You have all come a long way to mastering this great asana. But life is a path to maturity. And as my guru said to me one time, I would hope I'm still maturing until I take my last breath in this incarnation. And so have that goal for yourself so that you can take that desire, that intent, that work, that kriya, that sacred action into your next incarnation and continue to mature to the fullness of life. Continue to mature to your enlightenment. For you can. You can. And don't forget, help can be asked for. We all need help. We all need help. On the inner planes, the outer planes, we all need help. Ask for the right assistance. Ask the right person. And it will be amazing what you will have revealed to you. Know of whom you are asking the question. Yes. And when they give you the answer that frees you, bless them, remember them, and bless them, and bless them again. And let us turn inward now for a meditation, please. Focus your attention at the sun center and turn your head to the left with a double exhalation. Bring your head back to the center. Use the sipping breath to draw the energy from the limbs of your body to the trunk of your body. And now from the trunk of the body, draw the energy into the spinal column. And now from the base of the spine, draw the energy up to the sun center. Move that energy as a golden ball of light out in front of you. Sweep around to the left, behind you, to the right, and in front of you. Expanding that golden ball of light. And now ascend upward as high as you are able into the universe. And finding yourself at the high place. Find yourself your meditation place. Focus your attention at the Ajna chakra, the point between your eyes. And I'd like to ask that you join me in chanting a mantra, a Bij mantra. And the mantra is Hum. It has a slight H at the beginning. It's H-U-M, Hum. And this mantra shakes free the anger, it shakes free dislike, it shakes free confinement, and it allows you to see clearly with your inner wisdom. And so together we will chant the Hum mantra. No stress, no strain, just gently. Let us begin. Hum. 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 In again. Let's continue the chant. When we complete the chant, just sit in the after effect and the bliss of the chant. In your mind's eye, feel the divine, your Ishtadevata, your chosen form of the divine, your Lord, pouring down upon your crown center, the golden dewdrops. Feel life pouring down upon you, filling every cell of your being. Ananda, 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 Ananda. May these dewdrops of Ananda fill you, heal you, give you strength. May the release from your being all confinement and bring you that which you need most. Life will help you, my beloved. There is help for you from all realms. Just simply quiet the mind and see and ask for that which you need. You know not, ask for the highest good for your being. You know not, ask that you be blessed, that you might see that which is the highest good for you at this moment. Om Namo 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 Om Namo 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 Nanda. Namaste. I thank you for the deep, deep, deep blessings of your presence, for your beautiful meditative energy, for joining in this sangha, that we might all be blessed with that which we need. Your presence here is a blessing, a deep, deep blessing. Shanti. Namaste. I'm going to do something unusual this morning. I'm going to ask if there are any questions or any concerns that anyone has that they wish to speak of. Laura, you look like you. Yes, Karen, unmute your line, please.
I'm sorry. I had a question. Can you have two ishtas?
Good question. Can you have two ishtas? The answer is not generally.
Okay.
Okay, now, your ishta may take two forms.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if you remember the Ishtadevata practice,
Mhm.
You are calling to you. By the way, are you a Gemini? Do you know your horoscope?
No,
Okay.
I'm a Taurus and moon in Libra and Sagittarius rising.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you will remember that as we call the divine to us in a particular form at the time that we are calling, over time, as you walk through time, the Ishta may change forms, right? It may be that the form that you were initially drew to you doesn't resonate as much as it does in the past. If you remember, and I think I've taught this, but I'm not sure that you were there, you bring up the form of the Ishta to your sun center, the current form, and you thank the Ishta. Thank it for its beauty, its joy, its love, its support of you. And then you see the Ishta moving at a 90-degree angle out until it becomes a bindu, just a little dot, a little bindu. And then you visually you take it and you push it away. And then your next inhalation, you see the dot coming back. All right. And it's growing again. As it comes back and it's growing towards you, the form of the new Ishta is present for you. Now, this is done really only when you are sure that it's time for the new Ishta to be present for you. Right. But it may be if you're seeing multiple forms of the divine that you feel drawn to, that's a little bit different than having them as your Ishtadevata. If you look here in my chapel, I have multiple murtis of Lord Ganesh, of Lord Shiva, of Lord Hanuman, of the Divine Mother, of Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. And if you look through our ashram, we would add a few more forms at least. But that's not the Ishta. That's not, and they are all, they all are to be, all forms of the divine are to be respected, but it's different than the Ishta. Does that help you?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else, Karen?
No, thank you.
Okay. Shanti, namaste. Laura McNamara, you look as if, are you well with your new life?
Yes, thank you. And I do have a question, but maybe I'll email you because it is a little bit involved. But in a nutshell, a friend, as one chapter is closing, the next one is unfolding. So today's lessons were especially helpful. Thank you. A friend who is going through a breast cancer and lumpectomy had asked me to come and practice with her. And she's a seeker sister. We've practiced yoga together for decades. And she's asking if I would come to her house. And this is something that I would like to do as I become certified in yoga and meditation teaching. And it's unfolding very naturally, but I'm also a little bit nervous and I don't want to hurt her in any way, but we've just been doing some pranayama together and she really likes it and it's beneficial. And she has some big decisions to make ahead of her, whether she'll choose to do radiation or not. And I guess with your lessons today, maybe just helping her to be in her peace so that she can make the best decision for herself. And so I will email you to ask what tools you think would be beneficial. But it is somewhat ironic because I've been avoiding doing the assignment of the outline for teaching the 4 classes because I kept saying, well, who am I going to teach? Who will I be able to teach? And now here I have a student who's coming to me very naturally. And I think I can help. I feel I can help humbly, but want to be the best vessel I can to serve her needs, not mine.
So I would welcome your email, but I will also give you a partial answer. Okay. So, and if you send me your email, there is a one of my longtime students, a senior student, has a tremendous experience in hatha yoga and meditation with people who are experiencing cancer. So I would like to connect you with her. But that's not the question. You know, she could give you some other practical things. I'll tell you very simply, for yourself, increase your practice of Hong Sa Kriya. Really increase your practice. For all of you, if you remember the Hong Sa Kriya, it is to simply let the breath breathe itself and hear the sound of the Hong on the inhalation and the Sa on the exhalation. No control of the breath. Simply breathe Hong Sa. So if you're going to have to make a decision, you breathe Hong Sa Kriya. If you're going to help someone who's having to make a decision, you know, it's a major Kriya, and so we don't usually teach it to people who are just beginning. But for the kind of seriousness that you're talking about, if you are strongly established in it, if you breathe it in her presence, it will make a difference to her. If you teach it, it will make a difference. Hong Sa Kriya, although Paramahansa Yogananda referred to it as a minor Kriya, he was talking about that in the musical scale. It is really, in that moment, if you can truly do Hong Sa properly, that moment between the inhalation and the exhalation, and the exhalation and the inhalation, there's a cessation of the flow of karma. No karma is flowing. It is the Kriya in which there's no karma flowing. So, you know, if I were saying to you, what could you do to be of help? Any of you, to help anyone who is having difficulties, to help yourself, breathe more Hong Sa Kriya. Okay? And that will give you also sitting, and always with breathing the Kriya, as we did today, sit in the after effect. Sit in the after effect. Don't breathe the Kriya and get up and run. Okay?
Thank you.
Shanti, I look forward to hearing from you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Shanti. Is there anyone else today who wishes to ask a question or make a comment or say anything, please just unmute your line if there is. Okay. I thank you again. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the blessings of your presence. Namaste. Namaskar.